Good morning, students. Trust that you're having a wonderful day. You have gone through the first week of your examinations. I trust that went well as well. I'll be doing a review of a YouTube video on music theory. If you have any questions, please ask. Thank you. Alright, so I'm going to begin analyzing this gentleman as he presents on music theory. I'll send the link in the group so you can watch it and see what he's demonstrating. Alright, so the first thing he's going to talk about is octave, and similarly to octagon in math, the 8 sides, octave has to do with 8 notes. So for example, C to C. So we go C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Alright, he mentioned frequency. Now frequency has to do with the sound that you hear and the placement. So frequency above, it means you're leaving from middle C to that higher C above, right? And if it's the frequency below, then you know you're leaving from middle C to the deeper C. That sounds like C. Right, so let's begin.
To music theory, there's how music is written down and there's how it's organized. For most people, to start with, how music is organized is far more important. So we're going to put how it's written down to one side and concentrate on the organization thing. Now, this is a note. Now, as most of you probably know, sound is caused by vibration. The faster vibration, the higher the note. The slower the vibration, the lower the note. So if you, for example, double the frequency of that note, you get that one.
So you heard he said he's going to double the frequency of the note, so you know he's playing an octave higher. He plays the middle C and the octave higher. Alright.
Halve the frequency of that note, you get that one. Now, if you look at the piano keyboard, you will notice that there's a certain symmetry, a certain pattern to the whole thing. That there's these repeating patterns of 2 black notes, 3 black notes, 2 black notes, 3 black notes. And those are divided up every time you double the frequency. The distance between that one and that one at the same point in the pattern is called an octave. Okay? And that's because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, there's 8 white notes. If you then take that octave, we then divide it into 12 equal steps to get all the black and the white notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? Now, the distance between any one note and the next note up or down is called, in the United States, a half step. That's a half step. And in the United Kingdom, it's called a semitone. That's a semitone.
So chromatic scales, you're moving from a semitone or a half step from each note. So you're on C, so you're going to go C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C. 12 notes. That's your chromatic scale. So you're taking half step each time. Alright? So you have no major scaling, no minor scale. Now you have chromatic scale. And we'll go into it some more.
2 half steps make a whole step, as you can probably work out. So if we go 1, 2, that to that is a whole step. That's a whole step. Or in the United Kingdom, that's a tone. That's a tone. Okay, so.
Alright, so 2 semitones make a tone. You should be familiar with that. So if they ask you to look at the piece, and the piece is in the key of G, the note is on the second line, which is G, and they ask you what is a tone above G, then your answer should be A. Alright, because you move from G to G sharp, which is half step, plus G sharp to A, which gives you another half step, and 2 half steps equal a tone. Right? 2 semitone, 1 tone, or you want to say 2 half step, 1 whole step.
Half step, whole step. Wonderful idea. Allegedly, he was the first to come up with this, but he thought, what a great idea to give these notes names, which are letters. So that one is called A. Take a wild guess at what that one's called. B, exactly. C, D, E, F, G. Now, when we get back to the octave, we call that one A again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, etc.
So by now you must know the letters of the music alphabet. You start on A, you end on G, and then you start back at A. So that's pretty much it.
What are we going to call those? Okay, start on this one. Go a half step up.
G sharp.
What's that called? It's called G sharp. If you go up half a step, that's G. Go up half a step, you get G sharp. What happens if you go down? You get G flat. So you go half a step down, you get the flat note. Half step up, you get the sharp note. That one's called D. Go up half a step, we get
D sharp.
Correct, D sharp. Go down half a step, we get
Flat.
correct, D flat. Well spotted. What happens if we play A and go down half a step? A flat. Okay, fine. What happens if you play G and go up half a step? You get the same note, but it's called G sharp. So that note can be either G sharp or A flat. It's not actually that complicated to get your head around. It's like if you wanted to get to North.
So we all know, or you should know, G sharp, A flat. When you have two pitches and the same name, it is called enharmonic. enharmonic, enharmonic. Same pitch, but two different names. So you raise the G a semitone higher, it becomes G sharp. You lower the A a semitone lower, it becomes A flat. When you look at the keyboard, the same G sharp, that black key, is the same note that is called A flat, and so it is enharmonic. Understand?
Street, and somebody said scale, and why does it matter? That probably sounds hauntingly familiar to you. What are you listening to, though, when you're hearing that scale? What makes that sound like a major scale? The answer is it's the pattern of intervals. That's all a scale is. So if you play, starting anywhere on the keyboard, intervals, you start on the bottom and you go whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step, it will sound like a major scale. Same in...
Alright, so you just said a while ago, whole step, half step, whole step, half step. Major scale pattern, what I would have taught you is tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, right? So what you want to happen is, say we're doing C major scale. So from C to D, you need to have a tone. And remember, it takes two half steps to make a tone, right? So once you have a black key or a white key in between, or once you have a note in between, then you know you have formed a tone. So C to D is a tone, D to E is another tone, E to F is a semitone because there's no black key, there's no key at all in between, right? F to G, that's a tone, G to A, another tone, A to B, tone again, and B to C, no black key, right? So that's how you get your semitone, right? So that's your major scale pattern.
UK English, if you go tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, it is, that's what a major scale is. It's a pattern of intervals. Start on C, go up a whole step, another whole step, then a half step, then three more whole steps, 1, 2, 3, and a half step. Whole step, half step, whole step, half step. UK English. Okay, go up a tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Start anywhere and it will sound in a different place, but it will still be recognizably a major scale. Start, for example, on G. Whole step, half step, whole step. Don't panic. We can't go to that F because we need to go up a whole step, so we have to go to F sharp and then finish off with a half step there. So UK English, tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So in order to play a scale of G major, we have to use an F sharp. And F sharp is what is known as the key signature of the scale of G major. In other words,
right? So remember looking at the circle of fifths, or if not, I want you to remember this pattern. So I'm going to give you some words, and each of the letters that start the words, right? Those letters will tell you which key you're in. If it's G major scale, C major scale, D major scale, etc. I'm going to tell you that. And then I'll let you know how you determine what key signatures fall into these keys. Alright? So the pattern is C, go down and eat bread. C, starting over, C, go down and eat bread. So C, the letter C, has no accidental, no key signature whatsoever, none. Go, which is G, has F sharp. And as I go along the letters, you're going to see that I'm repeating the letters that I mentioned before for the others. Alright? So G for go has F sharp. D for down has F sharp, C sharp. A for and, no, go down, yes. And, A for and, has F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. E for eat has F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp. B for bread has F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp. So the pattern for the sharps is that for G major you have one sharp, which is F sharp. D major, two sharps, F sharp and C sharp. A major, three sharps, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. E major, four sharps, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp. And B major has five sharps, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, and can you tell me? A sharp. Very good.
words, you can't play G major without an F sharp. That is so far so good. Now, you've probably heard of major and minor. What is all this major and minor stuff about? Well, they're just different scales, and they're just different patterns of intervals. So we know that a major scale goes whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step, or tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. A minor scale just has a different pattern of intervals, which gives it its characteristic feeling. So starting on A, let's go whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step, whole step. Then we're going to do whole step again, whole step, half step, and then a whole step. Okay?
So the minor scale pattern is tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone. Right? So we're going with let's go with E minor. You need a whole step. So E minor is also the relative of G major, and G major has one sharp, which is F sharp, right? So E minor also has F sharp. So in E minor, we're going to have E to F sharp, which is a tone, F sharp to G, which is a semitone, G to A, another tone, yes, so you have that note in between, so it becomes a tone, A to B, tone. Now we need a half step, so we're not going to raise anything, we're just going to go from B to C. Now we need a whole step or a tone, so we're going to go from C to D and end with another tone from D to E. You probably have to write this down to picture it. Make your notes wherever you can. Right? Now that would have been a natural minor. There are three types of minor. Natural minor, which only includes the F sharp that is in the major key, right? The melodic minor, when you're ascending, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, that is ascending order. When you're ascending, you're going to have the F sharp, which is a must, right? And then you're going to raise the 6th and the 7th degree, ascending. So you're going to have E, F sharp, G, A, B sharp, no, C sharp rather, B to C sharp, right? So you have E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, we're raising that C, C sharp, raising the 7th as well, D sharp, and end on E. When you descend in the melodic minor, you lower the 7th and the 6th degrees. So when you go back down, it takes the form of the natural minor in descending. So natural minor ascending and descending will be E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, right? E, D, C, B, A, G, F sharp, E. That's natural minor. Melodic minor is going to be E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E. Descending it will be E, D, C, B, A, G, F sharp, E. For the harmonic minor, the 7th degree is raised both ascending and descending. So you'll have E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D sharp, E, D sharp, C, B, A, G, F sharp, E. So thing to remember, natural minor, it has the accidental, which is in the major key, the relative major key, if any, and the melodic minor raises the 6th and the 7th degree when ascending, lower both of them when descending, and for harmonic you raise the 7th degree ascending and descending. Okay?
That is the natural minor scale. Let's do it in UK English. Start on A. Okay, so it has this A minor has the same key signature as C major. They're like sort of non-identical twins, and they're known. So A minor is the relative minor of C major. They're sort of locked together because they share the same key signature, and therefore they sort of share the same scale. So far, so good. Okay, so we've done major and minor scales, and we've done all kinds of other stuff, key signatures. Let's just compare a major and a minor scale, because I want to talk about intervals. Intervals are the distance between two notes on the keyboard. So from there to there is an interval, from there to there is an interval. So if we play C major scale, okay, if I then play C natural minor, going whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, you'll notice, first of all, just concentrate on the first three notes. Okay, and the major scale, it goes, in the minor scale, it goes. So, what are we going to call the interval between that note and that note? That to that is called a major third, because if you go up the major scale, 1, 2, 3, 3 notes, you get to that note. If you got the minor scale, you get to that note, and the distance between that note and that note is called a minor third. Okay, so a major third is made up of, you go up effectively 4 half steps. Look, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and if you go to a minor third, it's 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3. Now, but when we get beyond the third,
I'm going to do the table where you can identify if it's a major third or a minor second that you have. This is done by the semitones. So like a major third is made up of 4 semitones. So when you count from C, and you go C, which is 1, to the black key, C to the black key is 1. Black key to D, 2. D to the other black key, 3. Black key to E, 4. So that's 4 semitones that you have taken to get to E. So once you have 4 semitones, it becomes a major third. If you have 3 semitones, it becomes a minor third. So example, you go C to C sharp is 1, C sharp to D 2, D to E flat, and that will be your minor third. So I'm going to do up that pattern and send it in a table format.
That's C. Now try this at home if you haven't done it already, the third and the fifth note of the scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? So play one, skip one, play one, skip one, play one. And what you get is a 3-note chord called a triad. And that triad is known as C major because it's the chord formed on C, and it's a major chord because the distance between the root and the middle note is a major third. Now, if we go up one note, what's the distance between that one and that? It's not a major third, it's a minor third. So that is D minor, okay? So the pattern, in a major scale, you can form a triad on each degree of the scale. So that's chord 1, chord 2, chord 3, chord 4, chord 5. Okay? It's a wonderful diagram which brings this all together. This may make your brain explode, but I'm going to do it anyway. Here is a fantastic diagram which explains how all this relates to each other.
Right, so he's going now on to the circle of fifths, which would have been the pattern that I ran through with the C, go down, and eat bread. So the movement is that you're increasing each time from each letter by 5, right? So you're at C, 5 of C is G. So you have C, D, E, F, G, right? So you can always count it on your finger. Yeah? If they ask you what is the 5 of G, then you count from G 5 letters up and it becomes D. What is the 5 of A? E. If you're thinking about, if this is too long for you, then you can think about your triad, your arpeggio. Yes? So your arpeggio goes 1, 3, 5. And keyboard or recorder or guitar persons, you know, if you're playing C triad, you'll be playing C, E, G, which means that C is your 1, E is your 3, and G is your 5. So quickly thinking, what is the 5 of C? G, because that's the last note in your arpeggio. Understand? So let's see what he has to say about it.
You'll need to look at it for a bit because it takes a little while to get your head around. But look, right at the top there is C. Now, as we know, you can play a C major scale without any black notes. There's no accidentals in it. There's no sharps or flats. If you go up to the 5th note of the scale, okay, you get to G. Now, when we try and play a major scale based on G, as we explained before, we have to use 1 sharp. If you go up to the 5th note of the scale of G, you end up on D. Now we play a major scale. You have to use both F sharp and C sharp. Every time you go up a fifth, you have to add a sharp to the key signature. And it's just down to that pattern of intervals we were talking about before. So every time you go one tick round to clockwise, so it starts on C with no sharps, goes to G with 1 sharp, goes to D with 2 sharps, goes to A with 3 sharps, goes to E with 4 sharps. Now, what about going down? If we start on C and go to the left anti-clockwise, we go down a fifth, we end up on F. Now, to make a scale of F, we go tone, tone, semitone, and this time has 1 flat in it, B flat, which is the next one to the right, has 2 flats in it, E flat has 3 flats in it. Now, the closer two things are in the circle of fifths like this, the more closely they are related. You can add another circle to the circle of fifths, which is inside, which is all the relative minors. So you can see how those relative minors, those are the minor scales with the same key signature There's the major scale, okay? So C major has no sharps or flat, A minor has no sharps or flat. G major has one sharp, E minor has one sharp, okay? This probably is a bit much to take in all in one go, but do have a look at this, and you can download, there's a little crib sheet we put together which will explain all this, everything I've said in here, so you can look at a piece of paper and go, oh, what did that nice guy, and the logic behind it, and how actually it's not rocket science, it's just a matter of understanding how these things go together, and suddenly, hopefully, everything will make a lot more sense to you. Jolly good. If you've enjoyed this, please remember to subscribe to this channel, because we...
Alright, so there you have it, the end of that presentation. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I am here to assist you. Alright.